Hey, what's up, everybody? Bitcoin sitting at $90,000. The big question is, are we coming down for a fifth wave, right? Is this little three-wave move here going to be a fourth wave? So we have one, two, three. We have this A, B, C for wave four, and then we will come down and get wave five. Is that what's happening? Or what could also happen is that we are basically, we had our top and we had our crash, and now we're starting to build support in here, and now we're going to go up for a retrace. We're going to get a retrace. Or is it, like I said before, is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we get a retrace? So it's either the blue or it's the pink, So that's the big thing, right? Now, what do I think? Well, judging by, this looks totally like a wave four. So I'm kind of leaning towards this coming down for a five. Only because of the shape we have here. Now, let's look a little bit sharper here. Let's zoom in. Now, what could also happen is that this wave could be, for example, three, and then we get three down, and then we get five up. And it becomes a bigger three. And then that's our retrace. So what we would take from that? Well, to me, it's sort of in a no trade zone. I'm kind of just waiting, and I want to see if that low holds, right? This is our little consolidation box right in here. You could see, right? We kind of moved up a little bit. I mean, almost kind of could be a diag here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? So if that is a diag and that's a 1, could this be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A? Could this be maybe B? And now we're coming down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down for C. And then basically what we would have is a wave 1 and a wave 2. Before then going into a wave 3, or it could be an A, a B, and a C up there. So we don't, it's not easy. It's not like, oh, this is what's going to happen. It's so easy. No, if it's easy, then everyone's rich and everyone's, it's just not easy. So we have to allow the price to do what it's doing, right? We have to let it mature. So speaking short-term perspective, I would say we're kind of should get maybe a bounce coming in here. You got support, right? Or resistance, right? You break out of the resistance, right? We've been down here for several days, several weeks, I mean. So is this like an A, a B, and a C? Is this like like, for example, a 1 and a 2, and then we're going to get 3, and we're going to flag out in here a little bit? So so what do we do? Like, what do we do? We have to see if it holds in here. If we can hold in here, that'll be cool, right? And then also, if you just take a regular retrace, as long as we have to stay above this right here, right? So the first thing is, can we hold this? The second thing is, can we hold this? And if we can't, then each wave we go down, each support we lose, the probability skyrockets that we're going into a fifth wave. But we don't know if this fourth wave is finished, right? We could still come down, but this might come up just a little bit more before coming down, right? Or, like I said before, this could be 3 and then maybe 3 or 5. So 3, 3, 5. So it becomes a bigger 3. So that's kind of where we're at with the price of Bitcoin. Let's look at XRP. XRP is same thing, right? And I go back to blockchain backer, his fractals that he shared. Let me show you there. And these are serious fractals that could totally, this is nothing to play around with. So look at, we got this little three-way move, and this is a flat, right? This is a expanded flat, and then we continue down. So are we going to continue down? That's the question mark. We have another one right here, right? Back in the day, XRP did, right? So very possible this could be coming down, and it did. It so far it did get knocked down. And then we have another one here, right? I don't think that's the same one. Is it the same one? Well, whatever. It's different screenshot, but basically, that's what we're looking at here for the bears. So we have this flat. Let's see, right? Because if you turn it upside down, you could see, right, how we had an A, we had a B, and then we had this C here. So the question is this going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5? And then we come down A, B, C, right? So what's the measured, or what's the target there? Well, if you look here, and I didn't draw that precisely, but pretty much there we go. I'm really wondering if we're going to hit that 618. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. The 618 is literally right there. So I'm looking at 256, 260. You also have resistance over here. So it would make sense if we could do that. He goes, oh, why is it not doing it right now? Well, we just went up quite a bit. We were pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, right? So, give us some time. If we look at the 1 hour chart, it looks basically done, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That could be A. Maybe we go B. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for C. And then we start going up in that 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth wave. We start going in that fifth. So if not, then what we're going to see then is this high not get broken, but rather the low down in here. So I would put a zone right there. If we go below that zone, especially under $2, it dramatically increases the risk of this being a rally prior to capitulation, like what BCB believes. And I'm right there with you, but at the same time, we gotta stay sort of neutral here. Because why? Because we're on a lot of support, so we got resistance right up there, right? So every time we hit here, we go up, we hit, we go up, we go up, we go up, we go up, we hit, we go up, we hit, we go up, we hit, we go up. So to me, it seems like it's getting weaker, the support, right? I mean, we've been hitting support all year since 2025, and now we're in 2026. We were hitting it all year, hitting it all year, hitting it all year. So the more you hit it, the weaker it gets, unfortunately. So let's say we do break down, we do go down. Oh no, it's all over with. No, it's not. It's not all over with, right? People think it's game over. And I say the game just started. Because this thing is going up here, $8, $10 at some point in its life. I mean, in some point in the future, and not in the not too distant future, right? The whole thing is, well, how do we get there? Well, we have this, you cannot deny this three-way move, right? So if this three-way move, here, let's take these out a little bit better. Here, so we have 3 down, we have 3 up. So is this 1, 2, 3, 4, and now our 5. There we go. But in here, let's actually do it like this. And then we'll put this as 1, 2, that's our 4th. And now we're coming down for 5. So either the 5th was truncated or the 5th has yet to be seen. If the 5th has yet to be seen, then we should be coming down to about $1.30. That should be the low. If we have, a breakdown, $1.30 should be the low. We should never ever go back below $1 ever again. If we do, it's not a good look, right? It's not a good look, especially, we have to stay above this 90-cent level. Maybe we could crack $1. People can say, oh, I got under $1 again. But the biggest thing is staying above this zone, which I have really strong conviction that we will stay above that zone. That's our zone. If we get into that zone between 90 cents and $1.30, that is like the buy of a lifetime for XRP, because I truly believe that would be the last opportunity we would get before this thing goes into expansion, because this thing's been cooking in a pressure cooker for 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That's a lot of years, guys. So that's 8 years we've been building this structure, right? So what I'm saying is this structure, right? People say, oh, bear market. Well, maybe Bitcoin, but if we get one more wave down, I mean, just look. 1, 2, 3. We have this 3-wave move 4, and then we come all the way down for 5. We build our base in here, and then we start going back up. So we're close. I think that's probably the main idea there. Unless we can break this high, if we could break that high, if we could break this right in here, this level, which is like, say, 265 to 285. So if we could crack above that, then, but as long as we're sort of in this zone between here and here, we're ranging, right? Here's the bottom of the range, the bottom of the range, the top of the range, the top of the range. So we have 4 points here. So until one side breaks, we have to assume we're just going to stay in that zone, right? We have to wait until one side breaks. So if this side breaks, it's likely that Bitcoin's going into a retrace. If this side breaks down, it's likely Bitcoin's getting the 5th wave, both of which will result in a retrace. It's just, do we have to come down first and then get it? Or do we do it now? Right? So it really comes down to those two ideas. But both of those ideas will ultimately lead to a brand new all-time high for XRP. Now, I can't say the same thing about other coins, like if you look at Rune, totally dead. I mean, not dead, but totally just getting crushed to the downside, right? But you do have 5 waves, and you do have bullish divergence on the 5-day. Do we have it on the weekly? No, you don't have it on the weekly, but So, this one's not going to be seeing any new all-time highs anytime soon, but it could see a retrace. It could totally see a retrace, So I think that's about it for everything. Monero's still chilling right at the high there. And same thing with Bitcoin Cash. It's still just chilling right there. It could be the top. It could be a top right here. You got a top, you got a top, you got a top. So this could be another top before A, B, and C. And then we go up, maybe. None of this is financial advice. I could be wrong. But in my opinion, Bitcoin Cash looks bullish. It looks like it has some strength, especially, guys, when you break above a monumental downward resistance line. I mean, look at that line, dude. That line is it's perfect. I mean, you got a perfect hit there, a perfect hit there, a perfect hit, a perfect hit, a breakout, and a perfect backtest. I mean, dude. So we just broke above an 8-year supply line, so that could result in a lot of momentum. Now, if you take horizontal, which is more important, you're right there. You're at the most critical level, right? First of all, you broke the downward resistance line. You're at this crazy level right here. So it's all about trying to bust through that. And I don't think it will bust through it unless we had some kind of a Bitcoin retrace. And we don't know if we'll get that until we get that fifth wave, right? So if Bitcoin gets its fifth wave, then that means Bitcoin Cash will get its wave C. It'll get it A, B, C, and that'll be Bitcoin's fifth. And then we go on our retrace, and then we go up. So that's kind of my main idea. I don't think this is going to break out right now. I don't think so. I think what's happening is this is setting up for a flat, and then we'll break out. So that could be a big move to the downside coming up soon. So we'll see. Same thing with Monero in a way, and XLM. When I look at XLM, it looks actually not too bad. It don't look too bad, actually, in terms of being finished. Like, you kind of have a little finishing move here where you have 1, 2, we drop down for 3, you go up for 4, and then you finish down for 5. But I don't know if this is a flat A, B, C first, and then you finish down for 5. That's always the hard part. Right? So how this was a little bit of a flat right there. You had 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4. So we could have one more flush, right? But remember, grand finale, here we go. Remember the grand finale. When we go to the 2-week chart, we still have, I think XLM has it, our 9 buy on the 2-week chart, guys. And you could see that is a very powerful signal. And but that doesn't mean that the smaller time frames can't have another low, right? So, for example, watch this. If I go to the smaller time frames, let's just go to the 4-hour, and I'll zoom out, and I'll take a line right there, and I'll say that's my flat, that's my 4th wave, and then that's my 5th wave. And then we'll just, play around in there a little bit. Now watch. If I go to the 2-week chart, you could see it's not, it's not that much of it's still in the vicinity of the 9, which is what you want. So, yeah, so this candle right here could actually come down a lot further and wick below the 9, and it'll still count. It would still be a solid 9, right? So And it might take another candle for it to start cooking up some pressure, right? You know, look at this 9. Look how long it took for this to play out, right? We had the 9, but then it took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which is 12 weeks, right? 6 times 2, 2-week chart. 12 weeks. That's 3 months. It took 90 days for this thing to figure itself out. So let's do that. Let's put 90 days. So January. And it's so cool that we had the 9 right at the end of the year. That makes it even more appealing. Because a lot of times you have reversals right at the beginning or the start of the year. Or momentum shifts, right? Because you got to think about taxes too. People aren't selling in December because of tax reasons. But now it's January and I could sell my crypto right now and I don't have to worry about it for another year for taxes, right? So, and then also people are going to get big checks, guys, big tax returns this year. Unfortunately, I won't get one, but a lot of people will. A lot of people will get big tax refunds. So, it's actually a good thing that we're not going up right now. We don't want to do that. What we want to do, let me see if I could do this right here. Watch this. If I take a bars pattern like that, and I take that, and I'll move it. There we go. Something like that, where we actually build a proper base in here, right? On the 9. That would be the best case scenario right there. If we could build support week after week after week and build that base up, especially around the 9, where we print these red dots, we break above the red dots and we activate the 9, just like over here. You could see, here's the 9. We have all our dots. We broke right above them. So you could see, and then look at this, guys. This is even more insane. Watch this. So you have an A, a B, and a C, and a 9. That took 1 year. You have an A, you have a B, you have a C, you have a 9. That took 1 year, or more than a year. So, I mean, come on. That's interesting, right? You got, I mean, it's like perfect. Like, look at that. That's actually, let's do a screenshot. There we go. Something like that. So anyways, that's, you know, nothing too much going on, nothing too crazy. Even THETA has a 2-week 9. It would be the same thing for THETA. You know, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles, and then a big candle up. That would be cool. Something like that. So basically that's all that's going on right now. Everything else is pretty much getting killed. You know, you got XRP down 5%, man. So that's kind of the main idea right there. If that doesn't happen, then hey, I'll be pleasantly surprised and let's go. But it looks like we might need that 5th wave down. You know, this could be the 5th wave, but now it's turning into a flat. It looks like a flat, so it could be a 5th. Remember those fractals we were looking at. So, you know, when you look at the total, it does look bearish because you have 7 waves. I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 waves. And this could be your 3 drives to the high here, right? So, you know, this could, we could get a little bit more downside here on the total. You know, because look at this thing. This thing is pretty big. It's a big channel to the upside. So you have, this could be your, it's not an ABC, but we could just call it a 3-way move. Boom, boom, right? And then you're still going to need something like that before you get something like that. Hopefully that's not too bad, right? But, you know, total, it doesn't look that good. It looks like the best thing total can do is give us a flat A, B, and C. Something like that. and then come back up, you know, play around a little bit, and then break out, and then you build that base up there. Because you can correct through price, or you could correct through time, right? And both. So Monero not giving a F right now, just chilling up there at all-time highs. So anyways, XLM versus Bitcoin. Oh, anyways, that'll do it for this video. Appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.